Hey, it's Matthew Giorgio. I'm going to show you a technique of how we control the decisions that a player makes in an open simulation. So many of the videos, if you've seen any of my videos before, I'm demonstrating very comprehensive business simulations, finance, investing simulations, like the one here, which is an entrepreneurship simulation, and I'm running a business. And this is a very open-ended simulation, meaning a student is allowed, a player is allowed to make any decisions they want while running their business, and they can make good decisions, they can make bad decisions, they can go bankrupt, they can be very successful, and it's really all comes down to the decisions that the player makes while they're running the business. So it's a very open-ended type experience, and of course creating an open-ended experience like this is very challenging, lots of code, lots of algorithms, and very comprehensive project to build. Most games and simulations for education that you see, they are not this open-ended. They tend to be very scripted, and you might have things like branching simulations where you're giving a series of decisions and then the simulation will branch you based on the decision that you choose, but it's still a very scripted type of experience where everything is kind of mapped out and the paths are all mapped out. With a simulation like this one, nothing is scripted. It is completely open-ended, allowing the learner, the player, the student to make whatever decisions they want and see the consequences of those decisions. But here's the challenge. What happens when you need to control the path or the decisions that a player makes, because by not controlling it, you're creating too much complexity, both from a building standpoint, but also from the learning standpoint. And I'm going to show you how we deal with that in this simulation. So I mentioned this is a business simulation. I'm running a kiosk business in this particular one, and we have this feature called manual accounting. And so I'm going to go to my products area here, and I'm going to order inventory. Now normally when you play the simulation, by default accounting is all automatic. So every financial transaction that you're incurring, whether you're ordering products or paying employees or making sales, it's all automated behind the scenes. The accounting is automated. You can generate automatic reports like balance sheet, income statement, cash flow reports, and so on. But we do have this option where you could set it to manual accounting, specifically for the purpose of teaching someone how to do their debits and credits, their postings in an accounting system. And so I have manual accounting turned on here, and I'm going to buy some inventory. Let's see what happens. So I've selected some inventory of ice cream to buy, and I'm going to click buy now, and check this out. An accounting window has popped up and is asking us to enter our debits and credits. So this is a big part of learning accounting. If you want to really learn the fundamentals, is understanding how to post financial transaction in an accounting system like QuickBooks or Sage or Xero or others, and how what accounts mean and what debits and credits mean. Okay, so it's asking me to post my debits and credits, and I have to choose my account. So what's happening in accounting here is I have to reduce my cash, which is actually called crediting cash, by the amount of the inventory that I purchased, which is $21.28, and I have to now increase or debit an inventory account by that same amount. So don't worry, you don't have to know accounting to follow what I'm going to show you here. I just want to show you the technique that we use. So here's the thing. We need the player to make the correct entry here. We can't allow the player to make an incorrect entry. If they make an incorrect entry, and by the way, this window pops up probably several times every simulated day. So after a week, you might have done 10, 20 postings. So getting your accounting right is very important, because otherwise everything else that comes after while you're running a business is going to be incorrect, right? Because it's going to put the wrong amount of money out of your cash. And what if somebody tries to game the system by reducing this, instead of saying reduce my cash by $21, reduce it by 1 penny. So we need the player to not have an open-ended experience here, to actually make the correct answer. Now, of course, we could code it to allow them to do anything, but the amount of effort it would take to code all the possibilities of allowing somebody to make a mistake here, and the return on investment in terms of the learning value is so small, it does not make sense at all. So we stop the student, the player, and we do not allow them to continue unless they make the correct entry here. So let me make an incorrect entry. I'm just going to put it off by a penny here. and I'm going to post it, and it's going to tell me that I'm incorrect. So I cannot continue. Everything is paused until I make the correct entry here. Now, what if I don't know the answer? What if I can't figure it out? Well, here's the thing we have to deal with as designers to help facilitators and instructors, is that we can't have a student, a player, stuck somewhere and then have to contact their instructor to say, hey, I'm stuck. I need to understand what the credit and debit values are. It would be a nightmare for the facilitator, for the instructor. So we need to allow the student to actually get the correct answer. Here's how we do it. We provide two options. One's called a hint and one's called show answer. So what a hint does, let me go ahead and click that. It gives us a hint, a suggestion, some additional information that might reveal to us what's been missing in our understanding of how to answer this. The hint does not show the answer. It simply gives us some suggestions and some additional information that might help us find the correct answer. So once I read the hint, and by the way, you notice here it's actually warning me that by viewing a hint, it's going to affect my grade, what we call our skill score. So we're actually measuring everything that we do. And this is the key here, is that if you accept this hint, it's going to be marked on your skill score and it will deduct points from you. So it forces me to only use hints when I really, really need them. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And so here I get the hint, and that might be enough information to help me determine the correct answer. But if not, if I try it, and I can try this an unlimited number of times, I'm not going to get penalized by trying a lot of incorrect answers here. Every time I try it, it'll just tell me it's incorrect. The only time I get penalized in terms of points is if I ask for a hint or ultimately show answer. Because again, we have to allow the participant, the player, the student to be able to continue and never get stuck, because we can't have a cohort of students who are far ahead of one other student simply because the student can't get this answer, and then again having to inconvenience their instructor every time they need help with something like this. And again, this window will pop up potentially hundreds of times in any one simulation. So the other option is show answer, which again will warn me that I'm going to be deducted points. I'm actually deducted twice as many points for show answer than I am for a hint. So it's a graduated level, and I can say yes, and now it actually posts the correct answer, and I can post it, and I now have a successful posting. So that's a technique that we use when we have to control the path of the learner and not allow them an open-ended experience. But we're doing, in this case, we're doing it within an open-ended experience. We've also built some other simulations where, again, we wanted to control the path, not only for the learning value it provides, but also just the effort and cost it takes to build something that's open-ended. Anyway, I hope this tip is helpful if you're considering designing things like this. I'm Mathew Giorgio.